Some of you may have seen online or in the program that it's actually meant to be my wife, Amy, doing the presentation today. So it's not a double confusion. We are two different people. She is very much the creative and the strategy behind it, whereas I'm very much the numbers guy. So if I bore you to death, I'm very, very sorry. But you can ensure that you'll get some sort of enthusiasm just by flicking through pictures of us going crazy on our website. Tiny little bit about us, just before I get into the details. We are a full-service marketing agency based in Canterbury. We specialise in digital, and we are partnered with Google. This year, we were selected for their Elevator programme, and that's the thing they do where they go around and they select 30 of the UK's most smaller but have the most potential agencies, and they give us a more specific face-to-face training. And it means that we're basically in the top 8-ish% of UK agencies, which for us is absolutely incredible for a company that's only existed for like 3 years. Here's a few of the clients we worked with, some former, some current. We've done a lot of different things for them. So we've done everything from rebranding ferries for the likes of DFDS to promoting the likes of the latest Star Wars films for Disney and Marvel. We've done email chain lists for very and different sorts of email targeting, which I'll get onto in a moment. But we are not specifically an email marketing company. It's one of the facets we look after, and we like to leverage email in ways that people don't really do on a day-to-day basis. Now, in a traditional sense, email marketing is sending emails to people. That sounds simple, but recently there have been changes in the way that Google specifically can utilize email addresses and contact details to target people in different ways. Now, I'm not here to tell you that email either works or doesn't work. There are a number of different factors that we've been through today which show how you can measure success and how you can work out what's the right thing for your business to do. But I'm here to just talk about something that's a little bit different, but still will use emails as their core marketing message. There are everything from video advertising to paid search advertising to display advertising to SEO to websites to changing this to Facebook to social media. There's a million things that I could go into about what people advertise on and how they get there. But historically, people will look at keywords, okay? I'm not going to go down a rabbit hole of paid search because you genuinely will be bored to tears, but you used to say, right, I sell laptops, so I'm going to bid on the keyword laptop. As time moves on, we're actually going into a stage where people look at audiences rather than words. So people, agencies such as ourselves, target people. They target their behavior as opposed to what they're looking for at that specific moment on the web. About 2 years ago, Google sort of fairly quietly launched a little tool they call Customer Match. And essentially what this does is you put your email list into it. Now, I'm not going to go into the specifics of what you can do with that list and whether it is socially, legally, etc. allowed to be done. If you have got the approval from the person that you've explicitly got their consent, then we fall into a territory where you can put their email into Google, along with hundreds, thousands, perhaps tens of thousands of others. And what Google will do is they will do their very best to match that address to an actual person on the internet. And as obvious as that sounds, it's not always a case of saying, there's an email address, so we can email that person. What this does is you upload your address, you may wait a period of up to 24 hours, and Google will say, of your list of 1,000 or 10,000 addresses, we have managed to match 60% of those. So you've got 600 or 6,000 people that you can potentially target. And this isn't with an email. This is using their email address as the catalyst to be able to target them. So it's a three-step process. If you have a list, you upload it to Google via their ad platform called Google AdWords. Give them 24 hours, and they will, as I said, tell you how many people you can actually target. How many people they can match, how many people they can confidently say, yes, we know who that person is, we know where they are. It's worth mentioning at this stage that you don't get any of this information. It's for Google. So you may give them 10,000 addresses, and potentially they can know where that person is, what their address is, what their name is, phone numbers, or whatever, all the standard stuff that Google have massive data mining for. But you don't actually get that. You just have the ability to use it. So it would just say, person A, tick, we've matched that, you can target them. Which does get around a few privacy issues, for us at the very least, because we're not actually taking that data, we're using their email address as explicitly explained to them when they sign up for newsletters or whatever it may be. Stage 2, you create some kind of ad campaign. Now that could be, as I said, a more traditional PPC text ad that appears on Google. It could be a banner ad that appears on the internet. It could be a video ad that appears on YouTube. But the idea being that you create a campaign and you create a purpose for it. Stage 3, you only target those people. So using Google's technology and using your email lists, you can target people as long as they're using a Google platform of some description. Now, that is, as we know in the UK, Google have got a dominance of about 89% of searches. There are 1 billion people registered for Gmail globally, and the number of people that automatically use Google is not showing any signs of dropping, in the UK at least. Microsoft are making a bit of a dent in America, but that's another story. So, I'd just like to present you a couple of examples of what you can do with this data. So you've uploaded your list, you've got a match of, let's just say 1,000 for the sake of argument, and now you want to target those people with some kind of message in a similar way that you would target them with an email or an offer or whatever it may be. You send them an email, you want that person to open it, you want that person to engage and sign up or purchase or whatever it is that your business does. Let's just say you've got a new loyalty scheme for your company in some description. And that loyalty scheme is only for people that are already customers. For anyone that's either been with you for 6 months, a year, or whatever the parameters of your original list are. Well, you can make a image ad and place it on the Google Display Network so it appears across the internet and only targets the people that are already customers. So you can be confident that none of those impressions and none of those times that the ads are served are going to waste. Another one would be, this is one that we've seen work quite efficiently. You have multiple lists, and we have one list for one of our clients where it shows people that have made purchases in the past but haven't made a purchase in the past 6 months. Now, it's not uncommon to send that person an email with words to the effect of, hey, we've missed you, here's 10% off, come back and buy something. Much prettier language, of course, but that's the gist of it. Why not, when that person is searching online, let's just say it's a retail brand and they're looking for a new shirt, dress, whatever it may be, and they type in, new shirt to Google, you can serve people that you know have bought from you in the past and tell them about a new range, or you can offer them something, or you can give them an exclusive message that someone as a new customer wouldn't be able to obtain. So you're just being very precise about the targeting you use. We've seen some incredibly strong response rates for this. Just by comparison, if we run the same messaging on Google search that we do in an email to somebody, we usually get around about a 50% uplift on people actually converting that see the advert on search as opposed to those that see it in their inbox. And that's the same message, it's just in a different environment. Another one, and perhaps more visually appealing, is doing this sort of advertising on YouTube. Just to give you an idea, you can get somebody to watch an advert on YouTube for as little as a penny. And the YouTube will say that the average is about 5 to 8 pence, and you only pay if, when you're serving someone a skippable advert, you only actually pay if they watch a minimum of 30 seconds, or the whole advert if your advert's less than 30 seconds. But it means you can get high reach and high engagement very quickly. But you can also get very precise engagement by using the email list that you've uploaded to Google that they've matched, and you can be confident it's only going out to people that have signed up to you, basically. And we've used that in the past for events companies. So we'll have an advert that will be going out to a broader audience, but we do another cut of it that says, you know, you're getting basically the beta access, you're getting preview access for this. So as an exclusive customer, look at our new event. At the end of it, here's a link, come to it. And the sign-up's very good because of that exclusive mentality. And the change here is that we're advertising in our environments, or rather Google's environments, as opposed to advertising in their environments. So some people don't necessarily, if they're not in the frame of mind, time of day, will look at their emails and they might not take it all in, they might not pay full attention to it. We're basically just giving people a little nudge if they're on the internet watching videos, or if they're on the internet showing search behavior for purchasing some dresses or shirts, or if they're browsing websites that are linked to things that you sell. And without going into an entire other conversation, you can take that list and you combine it with other targeting. So you say, I only want to target the people on my list, but I also only want to target people who are browsing retail websites. So it is more comfortable, it's more seamless. And ultimately, this is being powered by your list. There's another sort of advert which, this doesn't require an email list. You can take a different approach. You can use your list, or you can just manufacture an audience based on what you know about the people. But this does actually sit in Gmail. Now, it's worth noting that this advert I'm talking about is only for Gmail accounts that are free. So, we use Gmail for our company, but that's a paid service, so you can't advertise in that. This is only for people with @Gmail or @Google Mail addresses. And if you're familiar with the platform, you know that there are a couple of tabs at the top. From memory, it's like Inbox, Social, and Promotions. On the Promotions tab, as you can see on this left phone, there's an advert at the top. Now this is essentially a fake email. It should be considered a banner advert that appears on the internet, but we're putting it into people's inboxes. Now we can choose to use our list and always put this fake email into someone's inbox, or we can simply say, I know things about this person, or I know the things about the sort of customer I want to attract. So I can say, if that person has emails from this domain address, then I want to target them. We have a private car company on our books who, unsurprisingly, are rather grumpy at the level of uptake that Uber are getting. So, if somebody has an @Uber email in their inbox, so they've got a receipt, they've got a promotion, whatever it may be, we say we only want to target people if they have received an email from Uber in the past 4 weeks. And it sounds crazy. Like, even when I first heard it, it doesn't really sound like we should be allowed to do this. But we've seen incredible success of it. Just to give you an idea, these ads appearing have a click rate, so what is effectively an open rate, of around about 12 to 13%. And the click to site from all the ads being served, so of the original 100%, somewhere between 3 and 5% of those people come to the website. An additional 2 to 3, very approximately, will take an additional action, which may be calling them directly, or just visiting on Facebook, or liking their Twitter page. You know, there are tons of different things that we can use to measure, but at the end of the day, we want people to come and buy something, or sign up to something, or whatever it is, the actual core service that makes that business money. And this just gives you an idea of what they look like, a little bit more detail. So this is an example from Aviva, where you can see at the top of the screen, there's this little lined advert, and there's one at the bottom, and there's one that's a bit bigger on the right-hand side. You give Google some information, you give them your logo, you tell them what you want to promote, and they don't all appear at once. This is just the visual example. One will appear at the top, or one may appear at the bottom, or one may appear on the side. And in your reporting, you can break that down, and you can see which one performed best. You can see which one's actually resulting in clicks, which one's actually resulting in inquiries. The one on the right-hand side will always get more clicks, because it's visual. But they don't necessarily go to your site and buy something. So, the thank yous moved a little bit, but that's the core of the examples of way of using your email list without actually emailing someone. And I've rifled through that, so I can answer a couple of questions, and I'm just hanging about if somebody just wants to come chat with me later.
So we talked a lot today about the GDPR, and you talked a bit then about Gmail native. I've been led to believe that we can't use Gmail native when the GDPR comes in. Do you know if that's the case?
Well, Google are being very sort of cagey about this, and I will admit that they haven't given an exclusive yes/no answer yet. What they are, in my opinion, what they're inevitably going to do is the privacy policy that governs information that Google use for advertising will be adapted so that where we take data, or we generally take data and we use it to advertise to people on things like the display network or in search in the traditional remarketing sense, it will just fall in to cover this sort of advertising as well. Ultimately, as I said, I compared it to display advertising because it's ultimately, we're placing something on a web page. It's not an email, it just looks like an email. I believe that's the way they're going to get around it, and Google always leave these things to the last minute, but there'll be something going on in the background and they won't be worried about it.
So in terms of the customer match,
yeah.
Is it any email or just Gmails?
So you can take any email. So most of the time it will match Gmails because they're the easiest ones to do. But you can have an email address using the Gmail technology. And also there are circumstances where, for example, I have several Gmail style accounts, and Google know that I have a live account and I have a Gmail account and I have an AM marketing account. So if somebody were to upload my live account and Google knew that it was tied to my Gmail account, they could still match it. But predominantly Gmail, yes.
If you're targeting,
yeah,
and then someone else is targeting this kind of match,
yeah,
who gets priority?
So it will be done on the way that PPC works is it will be done the same technology. So it's how good your advert is, and that's something, it's a whole other place. But Google rate your ads out of 10 basically. And they'll give you a score, 10 being highly relevant, 1 being not relevant at all. And then they'll take the maximum you're willing to pay to get that person to click it. They multiply that together to give you a number. So whoever is either willing to pay the most or most relevant, you'll be able to see if you're being served, and if you're not, you either have to make a better advert or you just put your cost per click maximum bid up. Even by a few pence is sometimes enough.